Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Gehi, and welcome to the segment today. And today, we are going to talk about the L1 visa category. And I hope you're all excited to have something like this. And we'll also be having regular sessions. So if you have any questions, you can kind of, use the chat feature and ask us questions. Now, there are two types of people who are on the L1 visa. One are those who are here on an L1A, and second are those who are here on an L1B. So we'll have a discussion today about people who are on an L1A in the US, what they can do. And on L1Bs, we're going to talk about people with specialized knowledge. So what's an L1A? So let's run this, in layman's terms. Generally, L1A is meant for, a person who's a manager in a company. So manager is a person, who knows about everything about the company, has been working for the foreign company for more than 1 year. And now the company has sent him to the United States, and that particular person is working as an L1A manager. So today we are going to focus on managers who are currently in the United States. Now, the easiest way to describe this is that you're working for a foreign company, and that foreign company has sent you in the United States either to work in the branch office or to basically establish a branch office. And if you're currently in the United States, if you're on an L1A, what should you immediately do? Now, take an example about John Smith, and he flew from London to start a company in the United States of America. And he was very excited, he was very happy that he got his L1A. And after he got his L1A, he said, you know what, I'm starting this company over here. So he came to New York City, or he came to California, and he started the branch office for the company. Now, as soon as the branch office has started, now, what should John do? How should he plan his future if he wants to live in America? And how should he think about extending his L1A, especially if the L1 is granted for 1 year? So John comes over here, he starts the company, and it's a fantastic IT company, information technology company. And John feels that there's a lot of scope in this IT company because his company in the UK is doing very well. So now, after he comes over here, he gets in touch with people in California who are in need of his services. And John's company is very famous in providing extremely niche services, like, those special, unique, and extraordinary services. And once of those services are provided, there's a lot of potential out there. So John thinks that it's a great opportunity now. And I am in California, and which is the heart of the Silicon Valley. And John says that I am going to approach all these IT corporations and tell them that I bring the special software to the table, which can really help you to multiply your business. So now look at his target audience. He was in the UK. He was dealing with his companies. So the name of the company was XYZ Corporation in the UK. And he comes here as an employee of XYZ Corporation. And what happens is XYZ has established a branch office in the United States. And John happens to be the manager for XYZ. So now John is here. He bought this fancy office in the Silicon Valley. He's sitting over there. Now, his job is to establish business. So John is here on an L1A. Now, he got his L1A. He was here to show he's an intra-company manager, number one. Welcome, Suraya. It's great having you. And I'm just doing the basics of the L1A, helping people to know what it is. So John came to America now, and he got his L1A. So what did the consulate look at? Is whether John worked for that company, the foreign UK company, for more than 1 year. Whether he was managing people under him is the second prong of the test. Number two, thirdly, did he work for the company for more than a year? How many people John supervised? And what is John's educational background? That's not very important, but immigration has a tendency of looking at the total picture because, some of the officers look at everything and, it's not required, but they want to see whether the person is a real manager. So take an example, right? In a lot of these companies, they want to make sure that the job is someone that he was a senior because of the fraud that happens in immigration. We want to make sure that the right people kind of, are sent to the US. So they look at the total portfolio of the person before visa is granted. And I'm very happy to see that Suraya Rahman has joined us. And Suraya was a former immigration officer. She's an attorney in our firm. She's a senior managing attorney in the company, and she works very closely with me. Welcome, Suraya.
Thank you, Mr. Gehi. I'm happy to join.
Yeah. So now, Suraya, what happens is that John has come over here. He established the company. Now he is networking with all these American companies so that he can get business. So what John has done over here is acting as a manager. So because he's going out, developing business for the company, senior business developer, great. He got this contract with a particular company in Silicon Valley for $2 million. Fantastic, John. So you proved that you're a manager at the first shot, that exactly you're capable. You hired 7 fantastic high-end sales reps under you, and you are their boss. So you started the office. You have these 7 people working under you, and plus you're basically training them, you're managing them. Fantastic. You're proving that you're a manager. Now, that's what immigration needs from John when they apply for a green card. So in a sense, after 1 year, John says, listen, I've done very well in the first year. What is immigration going to see? Now, after 1 year, when John is going to apply for the green card, the first good thing about the L1A Suraya is that, do you know that we don't need a labor certification? Isn't that awesome? I think you're on mute, I believe.
Yes, that's definitely one advantage to the L1s for sure.
And that's such a big advantage because, the L1A allows you to bypass the entire, labor certification process. That's like a huge, huge benefit. The second benefit of the L1A follows the dual intent doctrine. What is the dual intent doctrine? Means you go to the immigration officer, Suraya, you tell him, I'm going to immigrate to America. He cannot stop you under 214B. That is the other benefit. Third thing is that exactly your spouse can work on the, on a dependent visa, which is an L2 visa. That is fantastic according to me. That is beautiful. And your children under 21 can go to college and they can go to school over here. I think L1 has amazing benefits. Above all, it also gives a strong incentive to companies to start the branch offices in the US. Now, take an example. You might be watching this show eventually in India, in the UK, in Australia, in Japan, and in Germany. We handle cases from everywhere. We can assist you to set up this entire 9-year thing. Because besides immigration, in New York, we also review leases. And we also basically kind of, look at everything that is needed. And if you have an accountant, well and fine. If not, we can help, we can kind of find an accountant for you, but of course you'll be dealing with them directly. So we do the entire 9 years in this entire L1 process. Now, John is here with his wife. Now the issue is that John's wife is saying that I got my work permit, I need my green card, and I want my kids to live here. Fantastic news. John's company, XYZ Corp, grossed $2 million and the net was 1.6 million. And John got this high salary, company paid its taxes, they hired 7 employees. Brilliant. Now, after 1 year, John can file a petition. He can include his wife, Suraya, in that same petition. He can include his children. And within 2 years, if the company did well, John may qualify for the green card. Don't you think that this is an amazing reason?
That's an amazing reason to go for one. Eventually, they can apply for the green card. Absolutely.
Right. So, Suraya, the biggest question which I get from a lot of people about this particular visa is that that I want to apply for an L1, and I tell a lot of companies, because we get consulted, Suraya and I get consulted all the time, by different companies, that we want to start our branch office in the US. And next week, what we're going to do is our team has decided to actually kind of promote this in different parts of the world. So in a sense, it's going to be pitched everywhere. We're going to talk about how can actually a foreign company, because people said they wanted to know the ABCDs. So you're going to have one more session on this, how foreign companies can start from zero So the next session is going to be super important for people who want to start their companies, from zero, and if they're abroad. But today, let's focus on people who are here, because the biggest demand, from our clients was that talk about, we are already here, so talk about what we can do here. Now, there are some other persons, generally what I've seen, Suraya, as you know, that people get the L1 for 3 years. Some of them get it for 1 year. Now, when they get it for 1 year, this means they are under a tight deadline. So from day one, they need to have very good legal advisors, so that what will happen when you go to apply for the extension, you have a better chance of getting it extended. But the problem is that if your company didn't do well in the first year, your chances of getting an extension are very low if your company didn't perform well, in the first year. So the first year for any company is extremely critical. So if you came in on, as John came in, and John underperforms, the company didn't make any business, the company is on the loss. Bad news for you, John, you'll have to go back to the UK. So keep that in mind. So therefore, we advise that having strong legal counsel from the very beginning to guide you through the maze of complexities is very important for all of you. So the maze of complexities is unfortunately the norm rather than the exception when it comes to immigration law. I'm sure Suraya will agree a lot on this. And what would you say about that, Suraya?
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
So I think people should know the right paperwork, and it's important that, we kind of make sure that the paperwork is correct. And, the other thing which I've seen about L1s is what happens now you are over here. Some companies don't want to sponsor you in the first year, and they take it to the next year. When you apply for the L1 extension, make sure that you start up with a good lawyer 6 months before that, because you may be able to get a lot of things in order which you might have missed initially. So make sure that, the lawyer is very kind of good at what he does. He knows what's an L1 visa, what's an L1A, what's an L1B. So we'll talk about L1Bs later. So you can kind of do an internal audit to make sure that, you're very much perfect with the requirements, before you even submit your application. Because if you submit the application without kind of, looking at the meat and potatoes of your application, your chances of denial are very high. So be very careful when you're in that situation. And, I would be very careful before I would kind of take that step. Now, another thing is that what you can do is people ask me that, I'm on an L1 right now. And the thing is that I'm not happy working for my company. Can I change it to another company? Of course. You can even change an L1 to an H1B. So end of the day, look for another employer, go for an H1B, and goodbye to that. There are ways around for that. But the bigger problem I've seen is we've been consulting a lot of people who are here on an L1A, and they are hired by a lot of foreign companies. And those foreign companies have a bond requirement that when you go to America, you're not going to leave us. So if you have that bond requirement, we may still be able to help you. We may be able to fight with your company, your current company, and try to advise you, or, if necessary, as to what you need to do to transfer a visa to another category. So 2 things. And if you are with a big company right now as an L1A manager, you need to sit on the table, speak to your boss, and let him know very clearly, hey, listen, I'm here, and I know this is it. Otherwise, I'm not happy, I'm quitting the job. Look for an H1B backer. So that is critically important. And there's something else that L1A managers need to know, because some of our clients are very, very bright. They're absolutely brilliant. So in one of the cases, which I remember, is that the client was super bright, and he had a PhD, and he was running this big company and everything. And he was a speaker in prestigious associations, and he had all these great awards of being Mr. Brilliant. Forget the company. You may be eligible under the EB1 category, EB1A, because you're a person of exceptional ability. So there are options for people who want L1 if their company is not sponsoring that. There are options for people who want to change their visa status to another company. And what happens if your L1A is denied? Be very careful if your L1A gets denied. You need a very good lawyer to appeal your decision. You'll have to look at everything in a microscope. The most common reasons, Surah, which I've seen in an L1A denial are that basically the number of employees is not sufficient under you. And there are case laws in which you can beat that argument for sure. And the other reason, which I've actually seen, is that you're not supervising enough employees. So those are things that I believe, like a strong accountant, a strong lawyer, making sure that the financials are in order, making sure that your company is having a good profit, making sure that exactly you have enough people working for you. Those are some of the critical factors which I've seen, which are very important in an L1 visa. So Suraj, that's what I've seen. And you know that if an L1 gets denied, you know how many days we have to appeal, correct?
Yes, it should be on the safe side within 30 days.
Exactly. So if your L1A is denied, you have 30 days to appeal, and you may have light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up if your L1A is denied in any way. And L1A is a great visa. And one other thing which I would tell people is that if you're starting a new company, you're going to have another full session with people about, and especially there's been a demand from people from India, from other countries, where they want to start the branch offices. So we'll be taking a lot of example for IT companies, because information technology is a very fast moving area. And also, Suraj, there's one other advantage to the L1A visa, as you know. The good thing is that we don't have to worry about the H1B quota system. There is no quota for the L1. I think I would take serious interest if I'm working for a foreign company, or if I'm in a company, I would get in touch with a lawyer who knows about L1s. Because I'll tell you what is the difference, when you deal with there are many good lawyers. What do? They make sure that your accounting is reviewed by a professional accountant. They talk to them. The communication is the key there. At the same time, you make sure that the corporate documents are in order. You make sure that exactly the company is doing pretty well. In certain cases, I remember that you have to even look at the warehousing facility, because some immigration officers are very particular to make sure that the client crosses all the I's and the T's, because unfortunately, others your L1A will be denied. Now, who approaches us is very important in L1 matters. So Suraj, as you know, there are people in this country who are on an L1A. They came in as managers, and the company says, hey, I have this fantastic guy, John Smith, apply for his green card. You can come to us. You can change the law you got here. Come in, and we'll be happy to finish up the process for you. And for example, your wife found a sponsor, and that's great. We can work on the wife's case, and through that sponsor, she gets to a green card, even you get the green card. So there are many kind of twists and turns in the L1A visa. So that's why we are focusing a lot on L1A today. And the good thing is that you can extend the visa after 7 years. That is excellent. So extensions are possible in the L1 visa, and I think it's a great visa for people. Now, who should consider the L1? Number one is people think that you have to be a multi-million-dollar corporation. I think it's not necessary. If you're a mid-sized corporation, but I tell people, if you have a one-man company, don't even consider it. If you're not filing your taxes properly, if you're not showing decent amount in taxes, don't even come to us, because you'll be losing your money. But if you're a decent company, like an IT company, a seafood company, import-export company, a garment company, a perfume company, or you're in the fashion business, you want to kind of grow your line in America, contact us, and we'll be happy to review the background of your company and let you know what you're missing. How can you make it happen? For that great ambitious entrepreneur, for that great Julius Caesar who says that I came, I saw, I conquered. And if your destination is the United States of America, we'll make sure that we'll try our best to make you the next Julius Caesar, especially when it comes to the US. So we'll make sure that you come, you see, and you conquer, and we'll make sure that we'll basically, be assisting you in that. So that's what we provide. Now, some examples of people who have contacted us. And Suraya, let's take some question and answers. And here are some of the questions which I got. I am in the US on an L1 visa. And now I want to make sure that I apply for my wife and my spouse and my children who are here with me. What is the procedure? So the first thing is just make sure that you've been here for more than a year. Secondly, also make sure it's a good idea to be here for more than a year because that's the normal thing which I tell people. This is my personal analysis. And then after that, make sure that you have all the documents in order. Make sure that your company has done enough business, and that's very important. And then after that, you can make sure to see that all your documents are in order, and you have to show that there's trade between both the countries. Which means the first thing immigration will ask you is to show that did you trade between your country and the United States. So you should be able to show the trade between the two countries. Then after that, you'll be able to kind of overcome the first part of it. Then work with very good lawyers who know about L1A visas, and that's going to be kind of game changer for you. Surya, what would you like to say about? Don't you agree that making sure from day one it's important for people to kind of cross the I's and the T's?
Absolutely. And part of that is speaking to an experienced attorney to help you, to make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, and you're, you're eligible to apply for the L.
Mm-hmm. And don't you think it's a great benefit for children also? They can go to school if they're under 21 and everything. I think it's a great visa.
Yeah, it allows you and your family to live, work, have your company flourish in the United States. It's a great visa.
All right. And someone asked me a question, Suraya, that my son is 21 years old, turning 21. I'm on an L1A. What should I do? So the first thing that he needs to do is this. Unfortunately, the son will have to change his status. And in those cases, what we've done is, in most cases, we've helped them to get a student visa, which means we, kind of process the visa for them, and they go to school, and we help them with, petitioning to USCIS that that the son should be changed to to a student visa, or like if he has someone that he wants to marry, if he marries, then he can also qualify for the green card directly. So that's what I propose most people who have children and who are turning 21. Now, the next question was from someone who said that I'm a spouse of an L1A visa holder and I want to change to H1B. Of course, your company can always change your visa if you're on an L2 visa to an H1B, but I would not prefer an H1B. Are you surprised, Suraya, why? Yes. I'll tell you, I would not prefer an H1B here. Because the problem, Suraya, with an H1B is, in this case, the spouse, I don't think so, unless and until if it's an exceptional situation, I would not go on an H1B here. The reason is that the H1B is an employer-dependent visa. But the L2 spouse has this work permit, wherein she can work anywhere. So that gives her the liberty to go to any company and work. But once if she changes to an H1B, the problem is that she's stuck with that employer. And also with H1B, they have to follow prevailing wages, and they have to make sure that those obstacles come in the way. But if you have the L2 visa, your bargaining power with the employer quadruples, and they can still sponsor you for the green card. So don't be kind of misled by those employers who are telling you that it is mandatory for us to have you on an H1B. That is an incorrect statement from an employer who would make that statement to you. So I think that's about what I feel is, why having the right counseling with an L1 visa holder is important. Now, what can you do if your L1A is denied? That's sad if it gets denied. File an appeal. Make sure you put your best foot forward. And during that appeal, you can still look for another employer who can switch you to an H1B. Now, in these instances, I would recommend an H1B. You found something. Or if there's another company, and if you're not from India or from China, who's ready to sponsor you for a direct green card, talk to that company. They may be able to just, proceed your with your labor certification. Now, that company needs a labor certification because you're not working on that company in an L1A category. So if they do your labor certification, or if you fall under the EB2 or EB3, except for the fact that you fall under the national interest waiver. But in those cases, when you go to a third company, wherein your L1A has been denied, then in those instances, that company will have to undergo the labor certification process. So it's not that bad, but I feel like, there may be light at the end of the tunnel. And few questions, if you want to reach us, it's real simple. Our number is 718-263-5999. And we offer a free initial personal consultation, number one. And if you want to reach us, gehilaw.com is our website, www.gehilaw.com. And we have 3 offices in New York. We also have an office in Bombay in India. And all the information will be sent to you. And the best way to reach us is to go to gehilaw.com. And this program is brought to you by Gehi and Associates. And the name of the program, as you know, is Green Card with Gehi. And we'll be having it regularly. And, and we'll be taking these few questions that we have. But next week program is very important. Spread the message and make sure that, next week we're going to really help foreign corporations. If you're going to watch the show in the UK, it's going to be very beneficial for you. If you're in India, it's going to be beneficial. If you're in Australia, if you're in China, if you're in Japan, in Germany, it's going to be helpful because we are going to show you all the ways through which you can start your branch office in the United States. That is going to be a fantastic show. Join in, tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, only on Green Card with Gehi. And if you like the show, don't forget to share it with your friends and at the same time, like us. And this is really going to help you a lot. Anytime you think about starting an L1A or L1B in America, you may contact us. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. The instant program is an attorney advertisement under the laws of the state of New York. And we handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. Easy way to reach us is gehilaw.com, 718-263-5999 is a number for you to remember. And let's take some questions and then we'll wind up and we'll be back again next week. General and important requirements for an L1A, L1 visa. We're talking about L1A today, L1B we'll talk next time. L1 should be a manager, should have worked for the foreign corporation for more than 1 year, and preferably should be someone who's in a commanding position. Now that word is from my end, because if you're in a commanding position, your chances are high and it should be a decent company. My personal request is contact us if your company has been in business for a long time. If you have more than 40 people working, we want to see you get approved. That doesn't mean that you have less, you cannot be, but generally we know based upon experience that your chances will be much better. But if you're less, at least 25, 20 is good. If you're a 2-person company, 1 company, you can still do it. But what happens is that you have to show that you're very, very kind of high up in the, in the corporate chain. So that's very important. What is the specialized knowledge required by USCIS regulation? Means the specialized person's knowledge has to be special, unique, and extraordinary. Take an example of a Java programmer who's been in Java for around 15 years, who's good in Spring, Hibernate, Tomcat, and MySQL, and he knows about a specific technology, and he was working on a specific project that involved a very, very specific kind of thing. For example, he's working with, on a particular research that involves, COVID, and he's using all these technologies. So he can super specialize by saying that he is that guy who's developing a program on a particular COVID research, and he's the only guy who can do it among the few people who can do it. That's how specialized knowledge works. So someone who's working on cancer right now, and if that person is working on a specific area of cancer research, who's working in a foreign company, of course, your chances are really good because you have that great cancer specialist who's trying to find a cure in a particular area. You have this great kind of basically, I would say chemistry major who's working on chemicals out there. And you found a combination of something which is better than Na2SO4. That's so, that's sodium sulfate. If you're better than that, then exactly, I believe, yes, you're in the game. So at the same time, if you find something on H2SO4, that's great. CH3CaOH, that's acetic acid. change those things around and tell them that you're working on CH3COOH, that's acetic acid, and you're going to make it better. That's specialized knowledge. So anything that we are working with methane, ethane, butane, pentane, xenane, fine. Specialized knowledge on pentane. See how deep you can get. So basically, if you're someone who's challenging Newton's laws, welcome. You're a specialist. It can be in any field. It can be anyhow, any place. If you're someone who says that to every action force, there's a reaction force equal in magnitude, but opposite direction, but you're changing Newton's law, specialized knowledge. What we did here, specialized knowledge. You're someone who's challenging Isaac Newton, right? There are people who do that. Either they are geniuses or they are something else. So if you're that genius, we'll take up your case. But if you're not that genius, we'll take the Fifth Amendment, which means the right to remain silent. So folks, I hope you enjoyed the show and I hope you all liked it. And always I like to end up with a great joke. So you all can also enjoy. Try to make sure that law becomes very interesting for all of us. And next week, don't forget, share this video. And if someone wants to know something, there's one or two questions, let me take. If someone is coming to the US, what are the L1A petition requirements? Next week show is very important. So that's why share this video. We're going to tell you how to start your business in America. Please join us only if you have more than 25 employees, because I don't want your case to be denied. Some other lawyer may take it up, but my number is at least 25 employees. Because I don't like to see cases getting denied. But of course, you're allowed to have it only if you're very high up, which means if you have enough finances, then I think I can consider it. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of your time and our time. I'm on a P1 visa now, and the US company wants to hire me and apply for an L1B status for me and apply for an L1B for me as a professional. Okay, so first thing is that, have you worked for that company for 1 year? That is going to be de facto out there. If you worked on that company for more than 1 year, then of course you have a shot. You can contact us at info@gehilaw.com, or you can also contact Suraya at SURYIA @gehilaw.com, SURYIA@gehilaw.com, or call us at 718-263-5999. I hope if you have any more questions, 718-263-5999. This is Attorney N.M. Gehi Esquire, and we are based in New York, and we handle immigration cases from all over the US and the world. And remember, gehilaw.com, GEHILAW.com, and you can reach us anytime. And above all, prior results do not guarantee future outcome. This is an attorney advertisement, and the information given in this particular webinar is general in nature and does not apply to any particular facts and circumstances of the case. And we are not your attorneys unless and until we enter into a written attorney agreement with you. Thank you. Share this video, spread the message, and don't forget, next week, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Green Card with Gehi, and we'll have different topics for people so that we try to cover as much as possible from the world of immigration. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Suraya. Wonderful being with you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining.